welcome to today's masterclass. It is great to see so many of you here. If you can pop your video on, it's always lovely to see your gorgeous faces. I totally understand if you are naked or in your pajamas, you may not feel like putting your video on, but as long as you are decently clothed, then we would love to see your face. And just like the last few people in, we are recording, so you will be able to watch the replay if there is anything you want to catch up on, or if we go too quickly over any of the sections. Yep, naked is what I said, Oscar. He's commented already. As long as you're not naked, then I would love to have your video on so I can see your faces. Now, everybody is muted. That is just for the comfort of everyone. Otherwise, we get background noises from everywhere. And of course, that's really difficult for you to concentrate. So if you do want to let me know a question, stop me, ask me to repeat something, the chat box is where you want to go. So make sure you can open up the chat right now. You know where it is. Just give me a Y for yes if you know where the chat is, and hopefully that will pop it open for everyone. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Any questions, or when I ask you a question, your answer goes right there in the chat. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. Okay. Who is ready to get started? Let's get cracking, because we are talking about time management. So I am hyper aware that I need to make sure that I stick within the time zone this morning, because I'm teaching about time management. So I have to practice what I preach. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Just let me know if you can see that. You should be able to have the chat open. You should be able to see my screen. So we should have everything going on there for you. Okay. Time management and productivity. In this session, I'm going to talk to you about how to get more done in less time without the overwhelm, because I think often we do feel that if I have to get more done, it's just going to create an absolute nightmare. I'm going to be feeling massively overwhelmed, and I want to show you some practical steps that you can use to get through that. So before I get cracking, I've got 3 questions I need you to answer for me. We're going to use the chat box to answer. How do you currently feel about your time management and productivity? And I'm going to give you a couple of choices. A, epic. You feel epic. Everything is planned out and executed with precision when it comes to your time management. B is that you feel okay. Sometimes you feel in control and sometimes you're just reacting. And C is you often feel overwhelmed and like you're not taking steps forward. So let me know where you are right now in that, in those 3 options. I love that people aren't making, they're like, I'm gonna edge my bets here. We're going between them. Okay, so we've got some B's, we've got some C's, we've got some A's and B's. Okay, amazing. B's and C's, currently C, and absolutely, this changes throughout different times, doesn't it? And different times of the year. Okay, somehow I'm drawing over my screen. Anybody know how I've managed to draw over my screen? Oscar, help me. Somehow I managed to draw on the screen. Okay, so we've got B's and C's. All right, the second question is, which of these resonates the most for you? Is it A, I don't know, I know what I should be doing, but I often get distracted or I procrastinate? Or B, I don't really know what I should be doing, so simply do what's on the to-do list and react to what comes at me. So tell me which you are. Which resonates most with you? You know what you should be doing, but you get distracted or procrastinate, or you don't really know what you should be doing, so you simply do what's on the to-do list and react to what comes at you. Okay, we've got some A's, couple of B's as well. Okay, so quite a mix here. A and B, says Camilla. I love it. Christian as well. A and B? There's no right or wrong here, guys. It's just to work out for me and for you where you're at right now and how you're feeling. Okay, Victoria, I take on too many things because I want to do everything. Yeah, I think we can all resonate with that. Both, says Alice. Mary, love a bit of procrastinating. Absolutely, and I'm sure lots of us do. Okay, what do you feel is holding you back from being more in control of your days and time? And I'm going to give you a little bit, like maybe 30 seconds here, and I'm going to be quiet. I want you to really have a think and tell me in the chat, what do you feel is holding you back from being more in control of your days and your time? I'm just going to give you a few seconds. Okay, let's see what people are saying. Knowing what I truly want. Mary, yes, I totally get that one. When we don't have clarity on what we are supposed to be doing, what we want, we can definitely then just lose control of the time. Tim, unexpected life interruptions. Harminder being overwhelmed and fannying around. I love that. Sean, not sure. I'm holding back. Just too much work. Okay, so just a literal overwhelm of incoming work. Harminder fannying. Victoria, I don't know how to schedule and manage my time and stick to it. Okay. Oscar, workload. Emma, time and not timetabling out what I need to do. Monia, not enough time in the day. Tim, not having enough people to delegate to. Russell, trying to do everything. Christian, my headspace and the amount I can cope with in one day. Alice, having the time to make a plan. Yes, having the time to make the plan and then accurately knowing how long things will take. That's such an interesting one, Alice, because I think we all underestimate how long things can take sometimes. Camilla, myself, knowing which is the best activity to yield the best results. Totally get that. Karen, no planning, posting, running mind goes blank. Nikki, wanting to do everything at once, not knowing how to prioritize. Lindsay, too many hats, being expected to do everything. Business, mum, school, home, project management, kitchen build. Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? Kimberly, times and routines, faffing, right? We're having a lot of faffing and fannying around here. Karen, inability to say no, trying to be the problem solver and seeing something shiny and getting sidetracked. Donna, unexpected things that throw my days up in the air. Last few weeks, child with chicken pox. Yeah, we had that suspected recently and it threw my plans up in the air massively. And a sprained neck, Donna. Oh my God, I hope you're okay. Megan, wanting to do everything. So you see how a lot of us have similar things that are holding us back. We have similar problems day to day. We have unexpected things. We're procrastinating. We're faffing around. So lots of people having the same issues. Right, I'm just going to do something. I'm going to stop sharing and reshare to see if that clears that crazy. Oh, good. That's cleared the crazy drawing on my screen. Not sure what that was. Right. So what I'm going to share with you is 5 practical steps, all right? Tangible, practical things you can really do. But what I want you to know in advance is there is no magic pill to this, all right? We all want the magic pill to, you know, drop a dress size overnight. We want the magic pill to get 5 extra hours in our day. And there is no magic pill. So I'm always straight talking about things. You have to do the work to make it happen. Now, there are practical things we can do. I know, Mary, no pill. I know you wanted the magic unicorn today. I am going to share with you the things that I genuinely do in my life and my business that work for me. And if you apply them and you do the work, you will see the results in your time. Victoria, also, I'm rubbish at allocating times to tasks. I never give enough time and mainly the format. Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of the same issues there. Okay, so step 1 of 5. We've got to get super clear on the priorities. And isn't it interesting that we had that coming up in the chat just then? Lots of you saying, I'm not sure where I'm going, what my priorities are, what I should be doing. I end up faffing and banning around. And so this first step is pretty chunky. We're going to spend a little bit more time than the others on this first step. For those of you that are in the productivity challenge this month, some of this will already be familiar to you, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. Let me just check. Give me a YFESM for no. Who is in the productivity challenge? YFESM for no. YFESM for no. Who's in the productivity challenge? Okay, so lots of people are. It doesn't matter either way, by the way, for this session. It's just so I know. And you can still join today if you want to. So if after this session you're like, okay, throw me in there, you definitely can. Okay, so how do we get super clear on our priorities? The first thing is to understand, and again, there is no sugarcoating this. We individually make time for the things we prioritize. We do. Think about the things that you most value genuinely in your life, and you will see that that is the stuff that you give time to. When we are looking at the overarching control of time, we have to be honest with ourselves. If I valued my health as much as, and this is genuine, if I valued my health as much as I say I do, I would get my butt into the gym more often. Right? Now, I want to be in the gym more often. I say it's important to me, but the reality is I don't do it. So we can assume from that that it is not one of my priorities. Otherwise, I would make time. What do I prioritize? My business, my clients, my members. I ensure that I always have time for that. My son, I always make sure I have time for that. So we do have to look at this, and you don't have to admit in the chat, but question yourself. What am I making time for? Because that will show you your genuine priorities and where you are currently giving your time. Now, it is really easy for us to say, and again, I do this too, we look at someone else's life and we go, oh, but it's so much easier for them. They don't have this thing and that thing and this thing that I've got going on. And we can almost convince ourselves that it's just harder for us. I do this too. Will anybody admit that they do it too? Give me a Y for yes. If we look at other people and we go, oh, but you don't understand. My life's so much harder than your life. I've got so much more going on. Right? And I'll be honest, even between my husband and I, we have this conversation, right? We're like, no, but my business is busier. No, that I've got more on my plate. And it's a way of us convincing ourselves that we don't take control because my life is harder, right? And I think we have to get to the place where we go, do you know what? Everybody's got a lot on our plate. And it's whether we control the time or not. Does this make sense? Harminder, cry me a river. Yeah, I love it. And we all get in those moments. Annette, we all have the same 24 hours. Grass is never greener, Mary. Yeah, and you know my favorite phrase with that, the grass is greener where you water it. We're all human. It gets easier when the children have grown up. But the thing is, I don't know about you, my kid's only 4.5. Like, I want to make sure I've got control of my days, my weeks, my hours right now. I don't want to wait till he's 15 to take control of my time. Okay, so some of you will have seen this in the group chat in the productivity challenge. If you haven't, don't worry, I'm going to walk us through it. And some of you in the productivity challenge had questions on this. So what we need to create is a 28-day plan of our priorities. Now, what we want to do is actually look at the 4 pillars that are business, health, relationships, and personal development. You'll see them there on the bottom of that spreadsheet. And we do have the link to this if you need to download it. If you're in the productivity challenge, it's there in the chat for you. If you're not, we can still give you the link so you can download this or simply draw it out for yourself. Now, why do we need the 4 pillars? Why am I not just talking to you about how to get more done in your business? Business, health, relationships, personal development. Somebody tell me in the chat, why are these 4 pillars so vital when we're thinking about time management and productivity? Annette, we only have 18 summers with our kids. Oh my God, that's so true, isn't it? Annette, don't scare me. Absolutely, guys. So Alice, Mary, everyone's saying it's the balance. Yes, Victoria, they will all affect you. So what I've realized is that if I have a complete out of balance, if I'm only focused on the business, then what happens is I hit burnout, I lose mojo, I lose excitement for what I'm doing, I lose fire in my belly, and then I wonder why I don't have that stuff going on in the business. Does that make sense, guys? Give me an MS if that makes sense. So it's not because I'm going, oh, we must all have a beautiful work-life balance and a perfect universe. It's not about that. It's because if I don't have these other things at some level in my life, then we just lose the momentum in the business. So then we don't have the mojo, we don't have the energy, we don't have all of that good stuff to keep us moving forward. Yeah, absolutely, Victoria. I've reached that recently, burnout, and then you take it out on your family. Me too. Again, all of this, me too, happens. And I have to keep myself tight on these kind of plans so that we continue to have that balance. Monya, I believe it helps keep life balanced and quality time to be more productive. Exactly. I think certainly in my younger years, I thought that as long as I threw everything at work, everything would be okay. And you realize that you do need that balance. And so when we create a 28-day plan, it's important to look at all 4 of these. Now, we lay out 3 priorities per pillar. Okay, so you can see on this spreadsheet here, this is the business one. You've got the weeks for the next 28 days broken up down the side, and you've got 3 potential priorities. Guys, 3 is your maximum. You do not have to write down 3, okay? Because if that initially feels overwhelming, that has the opposite effect. As long as you have one priority for each of the 4 pillars, one business, one health, one relationships, one personal development priority, we are on to a winner. If in some cases we can add 2, and in some cases we can have 3, that's fantastic. Do not pressure yourselves to have 3 priorities in all 4 pillars. Okay, does that make sense? Because I know for some of us, we're like, oh my God, I have to fill out every box. And it's that overwhelm that will then actually have the reverse effect. We won't take steps forward, we'll feel like too much on our plate, and we won't do it. Okay, so let me give you some examples so that you can just get some creative ideas flowing, because I know sometimes when you look at this spreadsheet, I know the first time I did this, I'm actually going to pause there. I learned this strategy, this particular one, this 28-day plan from a UK Royal Marine, right? So this is like an army strategy, a military strategy of how to plan and focus exactly what you want to do to achieve what needs to be done. And the first time I looked at this spreadsheet, I was a little bit blank. And I actually filled out the business one pretty easily. I was like, oh, I know what I want to achieve in the business. I can break it down into weekly tasks. And then I opened up the other 3 and I was sitting there with my pen for a while. So if anybody's opened this up in the last kind of 24 hours who's in the productivity challenge, did anybody else feel that same reaction? So you thought, oh, business, yeah, I'm pretty clear on what I want. And then you thought about the other 3 and you thought, oh my God, what am I going to write in there? Okay, good. Yes, is Alice. Oscar, yes. Harvinder, yes. Victoria, totally. Okay. I had the same reaction when I first did this process. Oh, Mary, what health is one of the only things I completed. So that might show that that is genuinely a priority for you. It might be an easier one for you to look at. Nikki, not seen it yet, but definitely sure. Yeah, Carolyn, the same. Okay, so I just want to give you a few quick ideas just to kind of stimulate the creative ideas for you. So you put your priority at the top. So like, let's say my business, one of my priorities is I've got to get my website upgraded. I might need to change the format, the design, the content, whatever it is. And this is personal to each of us, what we're doing. Along the side, we've got the weeks broken down. So the website upgrade has steps, right? What we don't want to do is go straight to, oh my God, how am I going to do everything? What is it going to look like? Because that overwhelm stops action. So we might say, right, week 1, I'm going to simply research web experts and tech VAs to get pricing. That's all I'm going to do in week 1. Week 2 is I'm going to decide the person who I researched, hire them, confirm them, agree a start date, and what do they need from me. Week 3, research other websites I really like the style of, maybe screenshot to share with that professional who's going to help me. And then week 4, review, confirm that the person has all the start date, all the styles, and everything they need to move forward. So do you see how we go, okay, I want to upgrade my website, but I'm not going to try to do it all in 1 day or 1 hour. I'm going to break it down. So by the end of the month, I know that that new person is hired. She is on her way. She's got the things she needs, and we're moving forward. It's not that it's 100% done. It's what's achievable in 28 days. Can you just give me an MS if that makes more sense when we break it down in a more digestible fashion? Because I think sometimes we think about a website upgrade and we go, oh my God, I've got to get everything done this week. And we don't do anything. And that's why it doesn't happen. Okay, let's look at some other suggestions. So health, be more active, right? Maybe I don't want to drop a dress size. Maybe I don't want to go to the gym 5 times a week. Maybe I just want to be a bit more active because I know I'm sitting at my desk a lot. And so I'm simply going to say to myself, right, I'm going to make sure I do 10,000 steps 3 times a week. Then maybe I'm going to up it to 6 times a week. And I'm just going to keep it like that. So each week I know I just want to tick that thing off, start embedding that really good quality habit. Now, for some of you, you're already doing that. So that doesn't count. Right? If you already do that, then you need to think, what is your next step up? What is the next thing I need to do? Alice, what if you're unsure of the steps to get there? If you're unsure of the steps, then I would genuinely say, come to an office drop-in with me so that I can understand what it is you're trying to achieve. And then I can give you the steps on how to get there and I can break it down for you. So if you are unsure of what needs to be done, your step 1 might simply be to commit to come to an office drop-in with me, or do the research you need to do to understand the steps. Does this make sense? Yeah, sometimes you figure it out as you go along. And these are all changeable. So you put your steps down and then maybe something changes through the week. Okay, relationships is a bit of a funny one. I know people are like, oh, this is awkward. Like, this does not have to be complicated, guys, okay? Think about connecting with friends or your partner or your kids or whatever the relationships are that you really want to improve. It can be as simple as texting two friends you haven't spoken to in a while. I don't know about you, but life is busy, right? We get busy. The months fly by and you suddenly realize you haven't actually text that person for a few months. Maybe they live in a different country and you need to just reach out and connect. Put it on a plan to do it. Otherwise, it just won't happen. Sean, oh my God, Alice, you stayed at my house when you were a girl. Is this true, Sean? Random member connection going on. I love it. Maybe you want to book a spa day for next month. You are never going to wake up and say, I've got nothing on today, I'm going to book a spa day with one of my friends. It is never going to happen unless you plan ahead. So I literally did this yesterday. I had it in the diary for ages to go and have a half spa day with one of my friends. And the space, energy, relax that it gave me has, given me so much more energy for the rest of the week. Nikki, I'm a member of a gym with a spa and I never use it because I guess you don't plan it in the schedule. We never get to a day where there's like nothing happening. So we go, I've got nothing on today. I'll pop up the spa. It's never going to happen. You're going to have to schedule it in, even if it's a whole month ahead, even if that's the next section you have in your diary that's empty. Could be as simple as having coffee with a girlfriend or a mate, literally just planning those moments in so we get some balance. Or maybe calling someone you haven't spoken to for ages and being ready to be really present on the call instead of just randomly calling and be like, oh yeah, how's it going? And not actually listening. Guys, just give me an MS if this makes sense, because I hope what you're seeing is unless we have this balance, unless we've got these other things in our lives, we lose the mojo and the energy to do the business stuff. And then we wonder why we're not moving forward and why we're procrastinating. I love it. Huminder's like, I'm redoing my spreadsheet. Okay, good, perfect. I'm glad you're getting some different ideas here. With partner, this is exactly what I do, guys, right? I'm like, okay, I need to book a date with my husband and we don't have any time to the end of the month. So I know in that week, I'm going to make sure I communicate with him and we book a date in. Now, this might feel really structured and controlled, and maybe you're a more like fly by the seat of your pants person. But the reality is, if you don't plan this stuff in, it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Maybe then the next week you need to make sure the restaurant's booked, the sitter's booked, you're going to have your date night, and then the next week you're going to book your next one. So what you're just trying to do is break things down so they actually happen. And each week you then just look at that week and go, right, this week I need to book a spa day and I need to book a sitter. That's all I've got to do this week when it comes to my relationships. Okay. Personal development. So this is things like the next level. So you might say you're going to look and decide which modules you want to work on and book some time in the diary. You're maybe going to watch just one video, just 1 hour inside the members area. And then maybe for the next 2 weeks, that is not applicable. You did the stuff you wanted to do for the month. Do you see how you don't get overwhelmed with feeling like you have to complete every single box? Give me a Y for yes, guys. If this is landing, you do not have to complete every single box. Decide what your priorities are and then put them down. And once you've got that, maybe that 1 hour inside the membership club, and then you're like, I'm good for the rest of the month. I don't have to do anything else. Guess what this also does? It takes the pressure off. Because instead of the next 2 weeks of that month or that 28-day cycle, instead of you thinking, oh God, I really should be going in and watching a video, you're like, no, I did my thing for this month. I'm good now. And you actually release the pressure of the stuff you should be doing because it wasn't on your plan. For me, I'm always reading something. I have like 3 books on the go at a time. I have like 5 audiobooks on the go at a time, which is probably a bit crazy, but I do love that side of things. So you might commit to just that one audiobook that you're going to listen to for the 20 minutes that you walk the dog each morning. And it might just be the same through the whole month. Okay. Weddings, Mary, I'm not completing the last week as we'll be on holiday. Exactly, that bit's not for you. Lindsay, hardest one is relationships. I get it. It takes just a few minutes to just sit down with yourself and say, in 28 days, what would I love to have done? Just even a text to a girlfriend I haven't spoken to, or have booked something that's 2 months ahead, but I've booked it. So look at the things that you can do. Okay. How might this 28-day plan have a positive impact if you do it today? Tell me in the chat, what could be the positive impact in 28 days? And what is the difference between not doing a 28-day plan to doing one? Just tell me in the chat. Builds momentum, Harminder. Alice, it will relieve the overwhelm of feeling like I haven't done what I should have done and not knowing what to be doing with my time. Absolutely. You're just going to look at your plan and say, these are the things I need to focus on. Lindsay, feel organized and knowing I'm progressing. Yes. Victoria, how do I stop the procrastinating seeping in? I'll come to that, Victoria. Tim, feeling accomplished day by day. Nikki, after a midlife crisis, friends have become important, and I also booked this in. Absolutely, Nikki, well done. Reduce overwhelm, says Megan. Accountability, Suzanne. Sean, can you share these examples after to give us some inspiration? Can you share these examples after? You mean more examples or the same ones I already shared? Camilla, it gives direction and clear, easy actions to take. Claire, see what you've achieved and feel more focused. Donna, gives you permission to park all the other things. Yes, this is important, right? It's not that you're not going to do the stuff. I still have to answer emails every single day. I still have to do all the stuff that's like my day job, right? But it's like, these are the things I'm going to make sure I fit in. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. Monia, simplifies life. Megan, please can you post the link to the spreadsheet here? Yes, absolutely, we will. Sean, these ones. Okay, no worries. Christian, feeling productive when I don't feel productive is when I feel depressed. So this often happens. Again, totally resonate with that. I find if I unbalance stuff, so if I haven't looked at any of the other things, health, relationships, personal development, and I've only focused on the business, that's when I can start feeling less productive, because it's like everything's only going in that direction. Okay, so let's look at some things we can do to make this happen and to avoid the procrastination button. Yeah, lots of people resonating with you, Christian. So we want to set our clear intentions. It limits overwhelm because we're breaking it down and we're not overcomplicating a goal. So we're not just saying, I need to do this in a week. No, in 28 days, this is the progress I'm going to make step by step. Priorities to yourself. When you write down, type or write with a pen, the things that you are prioritizing, somehow I find personally, it concretes in my brain. And then when I'm making decisions through the month, I remember what I wrote down. I remember what I said was my priority, and genuinely it starts to adjust my behavior. So when I think I haven't done my 10,000 steps, I might just stand up and walk around the kitchen a few extra times rather than sit down. It just helps me to shift focus. If I know I'm supposed to be thinking about the website and what I want to do is write some cute Canva posts, I think about going towards the website because I know that's on my list. So writing down your priorities for yourself really makes your brain go, we're supposed to be going in this direction. The other thing you want to do, and for those in the productivity challenge, we are not doing this yet, but we will do this. So I just don't want you to worry too much about this step because I will introduce this shortly, is you want to review what you've done each week, and you want to review with clarity. When we just think about a plan, if I just think, right, I'm gonna research someone to help with the website. At the end of the week, I didn't write it down. I'm likely to have forgotten I even promised myself I was going to do it. And so I can't review with clarity. When I write it down, I get to the end of the week, I pull out my spreadsheet and I go, did I do that thing I wrote down, yes or no? Oh, I did do it. Great. I've moved a step forward. And so I'm able to review with clarity. Okay, step one. Did that make sense? Now we're going to look at how we actually implement, how we avoid some procrastination. But did the 28-day plan make sense? And for those of you in the productivity challenge, did that help? Because I know some of you had lots and lots of questions from after I posted the link to the spreadsheet. Okay, good. Mary saying yes. Tim saying yes. Simon is saying yes. Victoria, so much better when I write a list. Lindsay, yes, I'm clear on what I need to do now. Emma, yes, definitely helped. Alice, ready to go. Amazing. Okay, let's crack on. The second thing we need to look at is time blocking and power hours. So I know we already have members who already do this. So let's just check there. Who are my members who already do time blocking? Give me a big Y for yes if you are already a time blocker. I know many of you are. Many of you love this format for getting things done. Lindsay, need to get back into the habit. Oh, Nikki, tried it, didn't work for you. Okay, I've got an alternative for you, all right? I'm going to share an alternative with you. Donna, sometimes. Tim's a yes. Victoria, sometimes. Okay. So, time blocking is ultimately a method of dividing your day into blocks of time, and each block is dedicated to accomplishing a specific task. So what happens is if we just kind of turn up to our computer and we just go, oh, let's just look at a big to-do list, we don't become as productive, because what we do is we pick the easiest things off the list first. Anybody want to admit that they do that? Give me a Y for yes. We look at our to-do list and we pick the easiest or quickest things first. Thank you, Donna. Nikki's a yes every time. Sarah's a yes. But this is normal. It's psychology. You want to take things off the list, so you pick the quickest and the easiest things first. Okay, perfect. Eat the frog is a great formula for doing the hardest thing first to get it out the way. And this is definitely something I would encourage you to do. If you're looking at a to-do list, however, you will likely just take the quickest and easiest things first to get it off the list. Now, time blocking is where you take your calendar. This is not mine, by the way, this is just a random one. And you literally plug time blocks through the day for specific things that need to be done. So that might be answering emails, social media, baking cakes, meeting with client, calls. But what goes in your schedule is not just the calls and the meetings and the tours, it's the tasks. So rather than it being on a to-do list, it's actually a time block in your calendar. Monia, oh, I definitely do this. I have 15, 30 minute and hour blocks. Perfect. So I am a big time blocker, and I'm going to give you an alternative. I know a couple of you said, oh, I've tried it, it wasn't good for me. I'm going to give you an alternative. Me personally, I love time blocking. It's the only way I can function. I do not run a to-do list. God's honest truth, I've not had a to-do list for about 7 years. And I know for some of you, you're like, how do you live without a to-do list? But my to-do list is on my calendar. All right, so let's say Oscar and I have a meeting about the next level and we have some tasks that need to get done. Instead of writing it on a piece of paper, I might write it when we chat, but then I will go straight into my calendar and allocate a 30 or 45-minute block where that task is going to actually physically get done. Can you just give me an MS if that makes sense? Because I know for some people you will have never heard of time blocking, and that's a completely different method. For some of you, you're already using it. Okay, any questions on time blocking before I give you an alternative? Any questions on how that works? So instead of having a list, you pop everything onto the calendar. Lindsay, what do you do when you get a phone call from a client? You should be doing something else. Absolutely, and that definitely happens to all of us. So I would then move the block. So if I was supposed to be doing something specific and somebody calls me and then I'm on the phone with them for half an hour, that block will then need to be picked up and moved elsewhere so that it can still get done before the deadline. Now, obviously, I don't want to be moving blocks all the time. You want to try and respect them. So Christian, I literally use my Outlook calendar. I literally use my Outlook. So where I put all of my client calls, client meetings, trainings, it's all on there. What to do if something pops into your head while driving or busy doing something else? I would take a note or send myself an email. That's me personally how I handle it. Something pops into my head, I'll send myself an email, and then when I get back to my desk, that email is there and I'll add a task back into my calendar. Lindsay loves the color coding. Mary's got an Excel spreadsheet. Perfect, whatever works for you. Okay. Yeah, voice notes is great as well. Great idea, Monia, definitely. Okay, Parkinson's law is the theory that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. I really want you to get your head around this principle, because I find this to be absolutely gospel truth. I find that if I have an hour to do something, I will get it done in an hour. If I have 15 minutes and somebody throws something at me, it might not be perfect, but I'll get it done in 15 minutes. Does anybody else find this to be true? I remember, back in the day when I was going into London every single day, I could sometimes, sleep through an alarm, and I had to be on a very specific train every morning, and I would be out the door, makeup on, clean hair, dressed, ready on that train, no matter what. If I didn't have a train to catch, it would take me like way longer, because I just faff around, watch a bit of the news, make an extra cup of tea, and faff and fanny, as people have been saying. And this is what we need to get our heads around. Work expands to fill the time available. When you have a deadline, how good is everybody when they have a deadline? How efficient and productive are you when you have a deadline? And tell me, this one I like supercharge that. If I'm going away, if I've got a week off, the week before my holiday, I am like a superhero. I get so much cleared so that I can then know that the next week I'm pretty much under control. And if I could work at that level every week, I'd be on fire. Tell me if anybody else gets this, or if it's just me. Lindsay's epic with a deadline. Victoria works well with a deadline. Tim's just laughing at me. Okay, Nikki, I find if I allocate a time I don't finish within an hour, I have to finish to go over my time and then put everything else out. Okay, so Nikki, this is about having that structure that you really commit to yourself that is going to get done in the time. Now, we could also have a problem, excuse me, where we are not dividing the blocks up. So the reality is some things are going to take 3 hours, not 1. Like in reality, no matter how fast I work, it needs 3 hours. So if that is the case, I need to break that 3-hour task into 3 time blocks. I need to break it into 3 steps of the task, and then just say, okay, this one task has to be completed within 60 minutes. Yeah, everybody's saying, yeah, really, with that deadline, we're going away. And this is the Parkinson's law. If you have a day to do one thing, it's going to take you a whole day. Monya, time blocks helped me get 33 emails out yesterday between clients, follow-up, content. Yeah, exactly. Look how well you did by blocking your time. Okay, let's look at an alternative. I get pushback when I teach time blocking, because people often say, I just can't overschedule my calendar in that way. There's too much kind of, maybe, let's say you run a shop, right? If you are physically in the shop for most of the day, of course, you won't be able to time block your schedule in that way. So the other thing you can do is use power hours. So power hours is like a minute version of time blocking. So if when you looked at that whole schedule and you saw all of those blocks across the week, maybe you loved it, like I love it, or maybe it freaked you out and you thought, I can't do that with my life. This is your solution. Commit just 1, or if you can manage it, 2 power hours per day to specific tasks. So if just once a day, you block 45 to 60 minutes to get a task done, this will begin to build a good habit of mini time blocking, or what we call power hours. So that, okay, I'm doing all the other stuff, I'm still using my to-do list, I'm still just responding to emails and calls and doing all my stuff, but for that 45 minutes once a day, I turn everything off, I get my head down, and I take action on that project. So it might be that you commit to yourself that tomorrow, 10:30 to 11:15, you're going to create all your social media for next week. You're going to turn everything off, turn all notifications, turn emails off, and 45 minutes, you're going to do that one task. And then maybe you're going to say, okay, between 3 and 4, I'm going to research a new tech virtual assistant because I need help with the website. Now, in all of the time in between, you carry on working as you do right now, but you just begin to plot in maybe 1 or 2 of these power hours through the day. Who thinks they could do this that would be more achievable than completely time blocking their whole week, which you can build up to more time blocking? Who thinks this could be more achievable just plotting in just 1 power hour or power 45 minutes each day to focus on a task? Yes, absolutely. 100%. Sean saying much easier. Good way for me to start, says Alice. This would take less time to organise, says Lindsay. Yeah, absolutely. Much easier, definitely, says Victoria. Nikki, I will try this. I think my diary won't look so overwhelming. Yeah, I love that. Well done. Emma saying yes, Donna, yes. Hell yes, says Karen. I love it. Harminda, yes, this would work better to begin with. Exactly. So everybody's in a different space, right? So I'm losing my voice really. So if you're already a time blocker, then you already know how to do that. If you've not really got involved with time blocking, this is a great way to start. Now, don't forget, we have group power hours inside the membership club. We call them block and tackle. You block that 45 minutes and you tackle one problem. So if you do want to do this as a group, this can really hold you accountable. Look out for the block and tackles we have in the members club, and we jump on a Zoom call. We say to each other, I'm going to get this one thing done. And then we all mute and we get our heads down and we do it. And in 45 minutes, we come back to each other and say, we got it done. Yeah, Mary loves a block and tackle. So if you want to do this in a group, it's much hold you more accountable, then make sure you look out for those. Okay, step 3, automation. Tell me in the comments, what could you automate that you currently do not? Tell me in the comments. Take just a few seconds to think about it. What could be automated that currently is not? Yeah, Nikki, social media posts, definitely a good one. I know my social content is much better when I sit down, plan it out, schedule it all in. Lindsay, emails, invoicing, washing up. Annette, Calendly, yeah, calendar appointments, on your social media. Oh, good one, Suzanne. The after payments received, that thank you email. Yeah, everyone's loving the washing up. I'm actually going to mention that in a minute. So there are lots of things we could be automating. Email responses can be triggered so that they are going out automatically. Yeah, workflow emails, Victoria. You could have a follow-up system. There is a whole section on that in the members area. If you want to look at that, you can have an automated follow-up system with your clients. If you are not doing any automation, as a minimal, you could have templates of repeat emails. So instead of having to start from scratch every time, you simply have a file with that template that you copy paste and make a few quick changes because you know the same thing needs to be sent out time and time again. Yes, Victoria, you need to time block to set them up. And we often think, oh, I don't have time to set up the automated system. But how many hours is it costing us every week to not have the automated system in place? So think about which emails you could have that are automated. And again, if that is too far step forward for you right now, at least have template emails. That could simply be like Suzanne said there, the thank you, we've received your payment. It could be that first email inquiry. It could be the follow-up. Anything you're sending out time and time again, have a template that just gets copy pasted and adjusted. Calendar appointments. You know, I'm a big fan of Calendly. If you are scheduling calls, meetings, venue tours, even for some of you, like Dougie, I know uses this for his actual booking system. Calendly is amazing for auto scheduling. How much time we save going back and forth with emails about scheduling. It's a waste of everybody's time. Amy, online booking implemented a few weeks ago and it's changed your life. Yes. And me too. Like, having Calendly is a lifesaver for me, and I know for lots of members who have implemented it. Okay, so step 4 is we need to think about outsourcing. And outsourcing kind of follows on from some of that automated stuff we just talked about. So what could you get help with? So we looked at what we can automate, but what could you just put everything aside, put money aside, what could you get help with? Mary, I need to outsource my cleaning. Absolutely. What else? What else could we get help with? Jill, social media. Yes, I know you did that, Jill. And how useful is that somebody else has taken that off your hands? Nikki, I have a cleaner and a gardener. Fantastic. What else can we outsource? Amy, accountancy is the best thing I pay for. Absolutely. Anything else we could outsource? Absolutely brilliant, says Jill. Yeah, absolutely. I need a kitchen porter, any takers? I'm sure you could find one. Karen, my assistant now does quotes from my notes and I just review and approve. Amazing. when we look, no, Jill, we can't be good at everything. We're really not good at everything. None of us is. And even if we are pretty good at everything, we have to look at where only we can be great in the business. What is our ninja skill? And the other stuff, what can be outsourced? Sean, social media for me too, just too expensive. Okay, there are different ways we can look at that. Monya, oops, I've lost it. I have an assistant to handle to-do lists. They're not my priority. Someone to clean the house, just need someone to cook, and I'm in heaven. I agree. Chef is definitely on my list in my kind of vision. Monya, don't have a chef yet, but is on the board. Julie, assistant is now doing timelines and floor plans. Yes. Victoria, I could outset my photo editing, but I don't want to lose control. I find outsourcing difficult. And I definitely did. A few years ago, I definitely found outsourcing to be very tricky of any kind. But it's always like the more you do it, the more addicted you get to it. The more you outsource and you see things happening in the business and things happening without you having to press every button, it really is such a godsend. But let's look at a few things that are reality. If you have never hired anyone and you're like, oh, I don't think I could do that, let me help you in a few ways. So first of all, you can get help with that email automation setup and design. You can hire a technical VA for a few hours to get all of that up and running, and then you don't have to spend the time, energy, and stress trying to do it. Blogging and social media, accounts and tax returns, lots of people have said that. Suzanne, finally paid a designer to do the new brochures, best money spent. Absolutely, because they will look professional rather than homemade, and that will drive more business as well as saving you time. Some of you have mentioned it, cleaning, ironing, childcare. It doesn't just have to be the stuff inside the business, because if you're being taken away from the things that could be really beneficial and profitable to do other things that are less helpful, unless, like Mary, you find ironing relaxing, then I shall send mine to you. Then, yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm like the least domestic goddess ever. I cannot clean, iron, wash. I'm absolutely horrendous at everything. Yeah, everybody's now asking Mary to come around. Okay. When you look at outsourcing, I want you to genuinely question, how much does it cost you in time, stress, and energy to do some of these tasks? How much does it cost you in time, stress, and energy to do these tasks that you could be focusing on something else, something that drives the business forward, something in the business that only you can do? You need to genuinely take a look at this. And if inside your head all you can hear is, but I can't afford it, then I'm going to give you a little challenge, okay? If in your head, whilst I'm talking about outsourcing, you're going, oh, I just can't afford it, it's not, my business is not in the right place, let's just do this. I want you to hire a ghost employee. All right, let me explain. A ghost employee is, firstly, what we do is we track the times that you are doing tasks that others could do. So cleaning, social media, accounts, answering basic emails, all of the things that someone else, fine, maybe with a little training, could do. And at the end of the month, add up how many hours you spent doing stuff that other people could do that would free you up to do the stuff you need to do. The second thing I want you to do is pay a ghost salary into a separate account for 3 months. You set up, like inside your bank, a separate account. Sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm losing my voice today. A separate account. It's your account, right? You're not paying anyone else. It's your account. And for 3 months, you siphon off the money that you would be paying that employee. This is a way to see if the business can sustain the monthly pay. Guys, if I explain this properly, give me an MS, makes sense if I've explained this properly. If you're like, I'd love this, but I'm not sure if I can do it, pay into a separate account that you own a salary for 3 months to check that the balance sheet still makes sense. You can still pay the mortgage, you can still pay yourself. Everything is still ticking over. And in 3 months' time, you will know if this can be sustained, and you will already have 3 months' salary ready to pay someone. Now, for most of this stuff, you will be looking at freelancing. So what you're doing is hiring someone on a month-by-month basis. They are not an employee of yours. You do not have to worry about national insurance and paying tax. They are a freelancer doing most of this stuff, all right? So in 3 months, you already have that money ready. Nikki, I had an employee previously. Oh, so obviously hiring is massively important. Somebody that you trust, giving them a little bit of trust bit by bit, giving them a little bit of task step by step. And I think, Tim, you've just gone through this recently of that handing over bit by bit to that new person and giving them more and more trust in the business as you can see what they do and that you feel comfortable with them. So you wouldn't hire a new person and suddenly give them access to absolutely everything in your business, your bank accounts, your credit cards, like that's not how you would do it. It would be step by step or project by project. So for example, if you hired a tech VA, you would set them that project to set up your auto email responses or set up your landing pages. Does this make sense? Okay, and then the last step is thinking about your booked couples. Tell me in the chat, with your booked couples, how much time are they taking from you? And I get that you're going to say, well, that's the business. The business is my booked couples. But of course, if I'm not focusing some time on the attraction and conversion of new couples, then the booked couples goes down. So who struggles with the amount of time and attention that booked couples need from us? Yeah, Karen, and it is like that. Some couples don't need you at all, and some will be super, super needy. We definitely see that. Here's a couple of things for you to think about. It sometimes takes over my days, says Alice. Victoria, booked couples come back to automated workflow emails. Suzanne, yes. Can do new business or booked couples, but each are a full-time role. I get it. Megan, and that's why every week I think of putting my prices up. Exactly, Megan, 100%. All right, let's just look at a couple of things that we can consider on our booked couples before we wrap up our session. So with your booked couples, does everybody have, give me a Y for yes and for no, some sort of welcome pack after the deposit is paid? Y for yes and for no. Do you have some sort of welcome pack that they receive once they've booked? Now, this is going to be very different looking for every business, all right? Because all of you have very different businesses, different products and services, but every business should have some sort of welcome pack. Now, this is probably going to be digital, right? A digital welcome pack. But what we're looking for here is something that is automatically ready to send. So the moment that their deposit is paid, you have it all bundled up, that template email or that pack, that PDF that's going to go out to them as soon as they've paid their deposit. What could you include in the welcome pack that might help you in the long run, that might save you time and energy in the long run? Yeah, Tim, FAQs, absolutely. So I'd go really in depth with that and give as much information as you can. Don't worry about overwhelm once they've booked, because once they've booked you, which is when they get the welcome pack, then they really want to understand everything they need to know. Yes, perfect. People saying deadlines, timelines, helpful blogs, templates for them to fill out. Yes, absolutely. Automated platforms. Recap what they've booked. Yes, recommended people for the next step. So for example, Amy, if you're selling dresses, then the next step, these are our seamstresses we work with. Karen, you don't need to tell me every time the very slightest change happens. So what you could do is in the welcome pack, almost have a note section that they write their questions, that it says, list your questions here for our next meeting. List your questions here for our next phone call. Amy, things they could add on, absolutely. I want you to start seeing a welcome pack as a way to almost get your booked couples under control. Now, they really love this, all right? They want to know, what do they do next? When do they do it? What should they be looking out for? How many times could they expect you to email? How many calls and meetings can they expect from you? Everybody's business is different, so everybody's welcome pack will look very different. You can either do this just on a nice PDF, you know, do a Word document, do a Canva document if you want to make it look pretty and branded, and if you can, then that's great. Mary, my proposal statement, I will start to work with them. Absolutely. But remember, at proposal stage, they haven't paid a deposit. Once they pay a deposit, you really want to secure them in with you. Think of this almost like an onboarding process, right? Get them in the right frame of mind. Think about, what do they need to know to feel really happy, safe, secure, that they've made a good decision? Suzanne, I share an online Google Doc, which works better for me. Yeah, perfect. And everybody is different. So that's perfect if it works well for you and your couples. Monia, PDF files on Canva can have links. Yep, definitely. So a Calendly link where they should schedule the next call. Perfect. So in that PDF, exactly that. You might say, okay, to book in your first Zoom call or our first meeting, you know, click this link to Calendly and add that into our schedules. So how does this help? How does this helpful? Or how is this helpful? Why does this help you? And why does it help your couples? Because there's no point in doing something if it's not going to have a positive impact on your workload and your customer. Karen, this has my brain ticking. We'll save dumb blonde questions for later. Amy, less back and forth. Yeah, Lindsay keeps them informed without bothering me. Exactly. Gives you control, Monia, 100%. So think about that onboarding process. Think about a welcome pack that, yes, it takes you a little time to create. Pop in a power hour, create it, then it's ready. And every deposit you receive, that gets sent out to your couples. Your monthly emails, again, there's a big masterclass on this in the members area. But those group emails, if it works for your business, you can send group emails to booked couples if it works for your business, keeping them updated of things that are going on and keeping them informed at a kind of newsletter level. It's not the same as those one-to-ones that you have with them. Okay, so what have we looked at today? We've looked at that 28-day clear priorities and tasks. We've looked at time blocking and power hours if we're not ready to go full on time blocking. We've looked at what we can automate to save us time, outsourcing, and also how we can manage our booked couples to reduce the emails and reduce the time they need from us. Okay, tell me in the chat, what are you taking away from today? What's the one thing you're going to do from this session that's going to help you with your time management? Tell me in the chat, what are you taking away? Claire needs to get back to time blocking. Nikki, fill in the spreadsheet. Definitely try power hours. Karen, booked couples. Monia will put together my welcome pack a lot better. Have regular power hours, says Tim. At a set time, yeah. Set up the blocks gradually. Booked couples and automation. Donna, the 28-day plan and welcome pack. Definitely, Donna, that will be brilliant for you. Everything, says Emma. Christian, blocking, power hours, potential to change my life. It really will. If you can get it as a habit and stick with it, it really will. And update automation emails and welcome packs. Lindsay, I'm ready for the 28-day priorities. Karen, start the spreadsheet. Alice, the spreadsheet and transfer to power hours. Okay, guys, tell me in the chat, has this been a useful class for you? Has this given you some practical, tangible things, not just those lovely, fluffy things we like to talk about when it comes to time, some real tangible things that we can move forward with? Okay, good, yay, amazing. Remember, look out for Block and Tackle in the club. Those are our joint power hours. That's our community doing power hours together. So do look out for those and you can join us. Brilliant. Okay, guys. I've kept inside the 60 minutes, so I've kept on my time management plan. Amazing to see you all. Thank you for joining me. Replay will be in the members area if you need to catch up on anything, and any questions, post them in the Facebook group. I'll see you all soon. Take care, guys. Bye.